This weekend at UFC Fight Night Saudi Arabia, Robert Whittaker takes on Ikram Aliskerov in the main event. Ikram Aliskerov stepping up on short notice in replacement of Khamzat Chimaev, who at this point in his career is the biggest case of wasted potential in the modern era of the UFC. Missed weight against Nate Diaz, lost his main event spot there. Super close fight with Gilbert Burns. Super close, underwhelming fight against Kamaru Usman. And now missing out on another main event spot. Definitely safe to say that he has lost a lot of his aura, lost a lot of his hype. People were really big on this guy in 2020. We saw all of the edits with his theme song in the background. People really thought that this guy was going to be something. And now it just really does not seem that that is the case. Huge fall off for Khamzat Chimaev, but at least Robert Whittaker gets an easier matchup. All I'm going to say about Khamzat Chimaev getting sick all the time, I mean, he clearly has some immune system disorders. We saw him look like he got stung by 1,000 bees after the Kamaru Usman fight, and now he's in the hospital before the Robert Whittaker main event. You know, Khamzat Chimaev did get sick in 2020 with the you-know-what from Wuhan, and all I'm going to say about that is I hope you guys didn't get the vaccine. But moving on, you know, Khamzat Chimaev, hype is dead. Looking forward to Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. And there was an idea of Ikram Aliskerov. There was an idea of him beating Robert Whittaker here in this main event on short notice. But realistically, what's going to happen is Ikram Aliskerov is going to be showing up for class because he's going to be getting schooled for the entirety of the time that this fight lasts. In fact, Robert Whittaker is going to school Ikram Aliskerov so bad that Ikram might actually be able to get a diploma after this fight because he's going to learn a lot. It's going to be a learning experience. Robert Whittaker is going to be the professor. Ikram is going to be the student. And Robert Whittaker is going to teach him a lesson and school this kid in Saudi Arabia. I can't wait for one of these, Dagestani brother Chechnyans to lose in, the Middle Eastern region where they always get the favorable matchups. Robert Whittaker is going to destroy this kid. It's not even going to be close. Now, I will be honest. Normally, it's not smart to pick against the brothers, and normally I don't. You know the brothers, the beard, no mustache, from the more mountainous, inbred regions of the world. You got your Chechnyans, Dagestanis, fucking Kazakhs, motherfucking Kyrgyzstanis. Normally you don't want to pick against those guys because they are normally very high level. They do normally have plot armor and very good chins. And they do normally get favorable stylistic matchups. But this is not one of those cases. And Ikram Aliskerov is not Maitabek Orobai. He's not Shavkat Rakhmonov. And he's not Khamzat Chimaev. He's literally a Wish Khamzat Chimaev. He's a Timu Khamzat Chimaev. Nowhere near as dominant, and he's not as good. Now, I'll give him credit. He's dangerous. He has a knockout threat, and I'm sure he has a, good submission game, of course. All the guys that look like that tend to have good submission games, but this is a insane step up in level of competition overnight. I see this matchup looking a lot like Abu versus Sean. I think that, Ikram might even start really well. He might even drop Robert Whittaker, but after that first round, class is going to be in session because I just don't see Ikram Aliskerov having a good gas tank. He seems like the type of fighter to blow his wad really quickly, going for the finish in the first round. And let's just be honest, unless he just tags Robert Whittaker and gets him out of there with a lucky shot in the first, he is going to be getting decimated the entire fight. Robert Whittaker has fought the who's who. He's been at the highest level since before Ikram Aliskerov, was even fucking throwing punches, let's be real. Robert Whittaker has been schooling high-level guys for as long as we can remember. And you really think that Ikram Aliskerov is going to be able to chin him? That's what everybody thinks is going to happen to Robert Whittaker. But, unless he's on the wrong end of a big old shot from Israel Adesanya, who is roided to the gills, he tends to be able to recover. Let's just be honest. Dricus did get him with the jab, and he did make Robert Whittaker do the stanky leg and curl up into a ball, but That's Dricus du Plessis, who is the middleweight champion of the world, who really doesn't get the credit he deserves. Robert Whittaker is going to be having target practice out there against this kid because I guarantee after the first round, he's going to gas out. Robert Whittaker has gone to decisions, has gone 5 rounds plenty of times in his career. He normally goes to a decision, so the further the fight extends, the more it's going to favor Robert Whittaker. I guarantee by the 3rd and 4th round, if it even gets that far, Robert Whittaker is going to be treating Ikram Aliskerov like a set of Thai pads, just working the combinations on him like it's nothing. And yes, Robert Whittaker is chinny. I do worry about his ability to take a shot, but we always worry about Robert Whittaker's ability to take a shot. And, unless it's a super high-level guy like Izzy or DDP, normally he's fine. I mean, Dricus du Plessis, very good shot selector, very good striking, very good pressure, incredibly powerful, has great timing. He may not look clean, which, kind of makes him not get the credit he deserves, but he's a very good striker and he's a very smart fighter. I mean, you see Dricus du Plessis landing consistently on Sean Strickland, who has probably one of the best defenses in the history of the sport. So you can't really take that much away from Bobby Knuckles for losing that matchup. And you got to think, what even got Robert Whittaker to the dance in the first place? What made him become a champion and stay at the highest level for a long time? When he was originally coming up, these are the stylistic matchups that made him who he is today. We look back at the, Murderer's Row of 2018. Jacare Souza, Derek Brunson, Yoel Romero. Those are all excellent looks in terms of picking Robert Whittaker here in this matchup because they may not have the brother style of, sambo grappling, but they're all very good grapplers in their own respects. Jacare Souza, world champion level jiu-jitsu. Yoel Romero, of course, had the Olympic wrestling background, and we know how good Derek Brunson is with that, college wrestling style. Was able to impose his will with that a lot over his career. Not against Robert Whittaker, though. And yeah, just looking at those 3 stylistic matchups in retrospect before coming into this one, you got to take Bobby Knuckles because these are literally the stylistic matchups that got him to the dance, that got him his belt in the first place. He was able to use really good footwork to stay off of the fence to where they couldn't get their takedowns, landing really good strikes on the feet, making sure, he was ready to stuff the takedowns whenever they came, really good sprawls, really good scrambles. We forget how good Robert Whittaker's defensive grappling is sometimes, and he's also very good at using it offensively. And we normally don't see these brothers, get taken down and put on their back. I would not be surprised whatsoever if Robert Whittaker does imply a takedown in a round or two to be able to, finish off the round and stay safe. But yeah, I think that Robert Whittaker is going to be able to nullify all of the grappling that Ikram Aliskerov goes for, and unless he gets hit on the chin clean and put out in the first round, I think that Ikram Aliskerov is going to fall off a cliff in terms of cardio, and Robert Whittaker is going to go right back to that classic primed up version that we all, grew up watching and fell in love with in terms of his style, sprawl and brawl. These are the perfect stylistic matchups for Robert Whittaker to really show a good version of himself and really dominate the match. I think that Robert Whittaker is going to get this done with relative ease. And I was going to pick Robert Whittaker to beat Khamzat Chimaev anyway, but now that it's Ikram, I'm even more confident because I was a little worried about Khamzat, but I really just don't think that Ikram is going to have anything for Robert Whittaker. Ikram, he seems to be more of a striker than a grappler anyway. And, you're not outstriking Robert Whittaker. I mean, please, give me a break. This kid with 2 UFC fights only fought 2 cans. It ended early. I'm not seeing enough to pick him against Robert Whittaker. And Whittaker's going to be able to keep it standing. And like I said, by the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th rounds, I think that Robert Whittaker is going to be treating Ikram Aliskerov like a set of Thai pads. 1-2 body kick, 1-2 head kick, chopping him up with the low kicks as well. I think that Robert Whittaker is literally going to turn Ikram Aliskerov into a punching bag. It's going to be a showcase fight for Robert Whittaker when, of course, Turki Al-Sheikh and all the brothers over there in Saudi Arabia probably want Ikram Aliskerov to get the job done. But, all the hardcore MMA fans, all the real MMA fans, we want Robert Whittaker to win, of course. And I think he's going to. I think it's going to be a very satisfying win here for him. But for my official prediction, I'm going to go ahead and say that Robert Whittaker gets it done by a 5th round TKO. I think he's going to get his first stoppage in a very long time here. Normally you want to pick Robert Whittaker by decision, but I'm going to go with a TKO here because I think that Ikram Aliskerov is going to gas out. I don't think that with what Robert Whittaker is going to be doing to him in the 3rd and 4th round, I don't think he's going to be able to make it to the final buzzer. Now, I won't be surprised if, it does go to a decision, but, my official pick here, Ikram Aliskerov goes in 1st round. I'm going to predict that he does drop Robert Whittaker and goes for the finish, is unable to get it, and then visibly gets very, very tired afterwards. And from that point on, I think it's going to be a Bobby Knuckles masterclass, lighting him up on the feet like a Christmas tree, leg kicking the fuck out of him, hitting the combos, using the footwork to stay in the center of the cage and avoid any of the grappling on the fence. And I think he does get him out of there in the 5th round. If not, wins a very comfortable 49-46 decision. So I'm going to pick Robert Whittaker here to win this matchup. I don't think that Ikram Aliskerov is ever even going to be able to fucking be in the same stratosphere as Robert Whittaker. I mean, please. Damn near even money on this. Whittaker's like, minus 150. Pfft, give me that. Give me that. Free money. Robert Whittaker is going to take this kid to school. Ikram Aliskerov better bring his notepad because Robert Whittaker is going to teach him a fucking lesson this weekend. Bobby Knuckles all day, baby. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching all the way through. Leave a like and a comment. If you disagreed or agreed with anything I said in this video, let me know down below. Subscribe if you enjoyed. And as always, have a great rest of your day.